StraighTallDay.com.
How do we kill your passive aggression? This is specifically, again, targeted to the men. We're going to pick up right where we left off at point number 7. This is part 3 of our ongoing 4-part series of killing passive aggression. Number 7, withholding of enthusiasm. Withholding of enthusiasm. I don't mean if you're actually not enthusiastic, you're not withholding it. But withholding enthusiasm when you could be enthusiastic, but you are making a show of not being it. This is a common tactic used by both males and females, pretty much equally. When you are not happy with a person or about something another person did or a situation, there's just some unhappiness happening. Instead of you communicating that, what you do is you let it out passively by the law of contrast. Everyone else in the room is laughing and you are just kind of straight faced, and it's clear that you are not reflective of the energy in the room or the reflective of the energy in the environment to the point that people can notice. So something that would trigger enthusiasm or has triggered enthusiasm in everyone else around, you are the only one who is not matching that energy, and it becomes obvious because everybody can see you're not matching energy. People can feel that. That is passive aggression, because if there was an issue, you should just say what the issue is, whatever the issue happens to be. Your response is way off energetically compared to everyone else in the same environment. And I've seen this in men and women, but for the same reason, because there's a lingering issue that has not been addressed by the person who is showing this contrast in energy. That would be you. And nobody's called out the passive aggression to get them to say what the hell is on their mind, and or they have not just taken the initiative to say what the hell is on their mind. And again, as I explained in the previous points in the previous installment of the series, because so few people are willing to have direct confrontation verbally with another person, or just call somebody out on what looks like might be their bullshit, or just call them to the carpet to just say what the fuck you got to say, this passive aggression just goes on and on and on because nobody wants to call it out, because nobody wants to deal with the conflict. So what I would suggest to you, if you are the person who has the issue, is that the thing that's on your mind, whatever it is, just say it and put it on the table. Just let everybody know what it is. Even if or when you are sure that the thing you're going to say is going to lead to some type of verbal altercation or verbal back and forth, say it anyway. It's better to have the verbal altercation and clear the air than to say nothing and let this thing sit in your mind, let it linger in your mind and in your spirit forever, and forever holding your peace because you didn't even say what the hell you wanted to say. How many times in life have you not said something that you wanted to say and you felt better because you didn't say it? I'm pausing there because I want to give you some time to think about the question. How many times in your life had you had something you wanted to say, you didn't say it, you stopped yourself from saying it, knowing exactly what you wanted to say, you didn't say it, and you felt better because you didn't say anything? I doubt many of you have many experiences of that being the case, but I bet all of you have a bunch of experiences where you had something that you wanted to say, you said nothing, and you felt bad because you didn't say anything. You were kicking yourself because you didn't say what was on your mind. You saw an opportunity to take a step forward and to take initiative on a situation, and you didn't say anything. You could have raised your hand in that meeting. You didn't do it. You could have went up and talked to that guy or that girl. You didn't say anything. Someone was offering you an opening. You didn't take the opening. And later on, you're mad because you didn't take the opening. Those are the ones you regret. There are many times in my life where I've said something and in which case saying something led to a confrontation or some type of verbal altercation or some type of outcome that I really didn't want, but I did say something to initiate whatever the exchange became. And even if it went some way that I didn't want it to go, I don't feel bad about it because at least I said what the fuck I wanted to say. Is the times when I didn't say anything, when I didn't do something, when I saw an opportunity that I didn't take, when I saw somebody that I wanted to talk to and I didn't talk to them, those are the ones that I regret because we'll never know what could have happened. I'd much rather make an error of commission, that is committing to something, than an error of omission, that is omitting, not doing something. So the person with whom you have an issue, never knowing that you have an issue, because remember, a lot of people are very poor communicators, and part of communication, half the communication is perception, folks, what you are receiving, not what you're sending out. Many people don't even notice that you have an issue if you don't directly say it to them. So if you don't say anything, they'll never even know there was a problem. So the only person mad is you. And again, many people, if you don't tell them, they don't know. And so it becomes your responsibility to communicate. Point number 8, today's topic once again, is how do we kill your passive aggression? Number 8, praising someone's competition. Now this one can be a little bit tricky. All right, this is a common habit that I often see much more in females than I see in men. But I already told you that a lot of men are starting to copy the behavior of females. So that's why I'm bringing this one up. This can apply to everyone. Praising the competition is a passive-aggressive move, specifically because it allows for a certain amount of what we call plausible deniability. So plausible deniability is a situation where you do something that there is a reasonable path to defending your behavior, but there's also a reasonable path to what you did was some bullshit. So plausible deniability means, the definition of it is an organization of a clandestine operation in such a way that knowledge of its existence may be denied by those in authority. In other words, plausible deniability is when you do something that is benign enough that you could act like what you were doing was innocent, but is also pernicious enough that somebody could take it in a negative way. So basically, you're giving yourself two options when you do something that has a good amount of plausible deniability. This is a common passive-aggressive behavior, plausible deniability. Why? Because, again, it's a thing that you can do that gives you multiple options, gives you multiple out clauses. Let me see another definition I got. This definition is coming from legaldictionary.com. So this is a term that I think is very popular in the legal spaces. We got any lawyers listening, you can tell me. The term plausible deniability refers to the ability of an individual to deny knowing about something nefarious because there is no proof to the contrary. For example, plausible deniability can protect people who were either personally involved or willfully disregarded something illegal or unethical if there is no evidence showing that they knew about it. So plausible deniability, again, it means the ability that an individual has to deny some negative thing, deny knowing about a negative thing, or deny being involved in a negative thing because you can't prove that they did. And that's what this is. So praising someone's competition gives you plausible deniability because you are doing something that could be interpreted in more than one way. That's what it means. Deniability means I can deny this even if you accuse me of it. And both people can be right. Again, that's why it's passive aggressive. See, when you're direct aggressive, there's no multiple interpretations of it. See, if I'm directly saying something to you, there will be no multiple ways to interpret what I said because I'm going to say it so clearly that you can't take it but one way. I'm going to say it in a way that you can't take it another way. That's direct aggression. Passive aggression is when people say and do things that can be taken in multiple ways, and often they say things that give them plausible deniability. So when they say something and you take it as a negative, they can say, well, I meant it this way, which is the positive. That's the plausible deniability. And there's a term that we use for this that I don't know if it's here in this point, but it's somewhere in this series. I'll just tell it to you right here. It's what we call pleading no contest. This is what sometimes people do, pleading no contest. So pleading no contest is another thing that comes from the legal space, which is when you are accused of a crime and you go to court and the judge asks, how do you plead? And you say, well, I'm going to plead no contest. I'm not going to plead guilty. I'm not going to plead innocent. I'm just going to let the court decide what they want to do. And pleading no contest is a term that we use colloquially in the environments that I come from. When someone does something that could be looked at in one way, the negative way, but then pleading no contest is when they act like what they were doing was just in a positive way when confronted. They only use the positive interpretation when they're confronted because they don't want to deal with the confrontation that comes with the negative interpretation. This is also known as the Mott and Bailey in logical fallacy terms, which is when someone says something one way, and then when you call them out on what they said, they try to make it seem like what they're saying is what's the word? It is just this normal positive thing. That's the form of a Mott and Bailey logical fallacy. So let me give you an example of the Mott and Bailey logical fallacy because there are many of them. And let me pull this up right now. So an example of the Mott and Bailey logical fallacy, let me give you a clear definition of it, is let's say somebody says something like, we should abolish the police entirely because they're systematically racist and harmful. Now, you've heard people say that. We should abolish the police because they're racist and harmful. And then somebody challenges you and says, what do you mean abolish the police? If we abolish the police, who's your grandmother going to call? Somebody tries to mug her when she's coming home from church on Sunday. And the retreat is the other side of the Mott and Bailey when you say something like, oh, well, what I mean is we just need better accountability and reform in law enforcement. See, that's the Mott and Bailey. So the Bailey is the bold and controversial point that you make that sounds good as long as everybody's accepting it. As soon as someone challenges you on it, what you do is you retreat into something that is a more cleaned up version of the bold thing that you said. So it's one thing to say, let's abolish the police completely. It's another thing to say, oh, we just need to hold the police accountable. Those are two different things. Which one are you saying? And see, people will get away with the first one as long as nobody challenges them. And as soon as you challenge them, they'll just retreat to the second one. So that is plausible deniability in a statement in and of itself. So they're interchanging positions. And this is a form of passive aggression. Does everybody understand what I'm saying here? So praising someone's competition is a form of passive aggression. Let me give you an example. If you and I are playing together on the same basketball team, there's a player on the other team that doesn't like you, and you don't like that player on the other team. All right, I know you don't like them. I know that they don't like you. And I say something positive about that other player in front of you. Mind you, me and you are teammates. You take offense to the fact that I said something positive about the player that I know you are in conflict with. And then you ask, well, Dre, why would you say something like that in front of me, knowing that I have issues with that guy? I could say something like, well, hey, I'm just giving the guy a compliment. Why you got a problem with that? See, that's the Mott and Bailey. See, now I'm being passive aggressive. And the entire time, the reason that I said it is because I'm trying to pinprick you, and I'm trying to passively aggressively provoke you to show that I might be a little bit on that guy's side. I'm doing it to really show aggression towards you. It has nothing to do with that other guy. And again, I'm saying something that can be interpreted in multiple ways. So I always have an out clause. That's passive aggression. All right, that's a bitch ass thing to do. And women do this all the time, but men are starting to pick up on the habit. That's the reason why I'm bringing this up. As people get better with words, and they have more access to learning terms, because now the internet is basically flattened out access to information. It's always been like this for years, but now people are using it more because it's getting easier and easier. This slippery language that we have in our vocabulary, more people are picking up on this shit. You're going to see more and more of this. That's the reason why, to combat it, you got to get good at noticing people's nonsense and calling them out on their bullshit on the spot. Not like you got to go to the dictionary later on in the day and try to figure out what happened. You got to get good at calling this shit out when it happens. I'm pretty good at it. All right, this is why I get blocked on social media a lot, because I call people out on their bullshit. And they can't say anything back except try to attack me personally, but I don't attack them personally, so they look silly when they do that. So again, there's a reason why I get blocked a lot. The reason is most people are afraid of direct confrontation, especially of some bullshit that they said when they know that they just got called out on their bullshit and they don't have any out clauses. People do anything to avoid the hint of this. So this is the reason why plausible deniability gets brought into situations. So again, this passive aggression, this Mott and Bailey, saying things that can be interpreted in multiple ways. You got to be very careful of people doing this. And the more quote unquote educated a person is, the better they are at using these things. So be careful. Number 9, today's topic, once again, we're on part 3 of our ongoing mini series, how we kill your passive aggression. Number 9, pouting, sulking instead of sharing that there is an issue. Pouting and sulking. This point right here encompasses everything we talked about in the previous 2 points of this episode. I don't mind. Actually, I do mind, but I understand when a woman does this. When a woman is pouting and sulking and it's obvious she's not okay, you ask her how she's doing, she says, I'm okay. You ask her how she's doing, she says she's fine. When a woman does that, it's normal. Every man listening to this, you ever been in a relationship with a woman, you've seen this. I do mind, but I understand when a woman does it because this is what women do. Women are not as direct as men. Women do not have testosterone like men. Women are not as aggressive as men by nature. I don't like when men do this, because when a man is pouting or sulking, then it is clear that something is up, but he is communicating it non-verbally. He's doing it to prompt someone to pull the words out of him because he doesn't want to initiate the conversation on his own. Now, let's be clear. This is the same thing a woman does. When a woman says to a man, I'm fine, and it's clear that she's not fine, she is trying to prompt you to initiate the conversation that she does not want to initiate because, again, you're the man, she's a woman. She does not have the testosterone that you have. She is not wired to initiate conversations, especially ones that may be confrontational. A woman is not wired to start a confrontational conversation. She will engage in one, but she's not wired to start one. She will do things that cause you to start it and then give her plausible deniability. Well, you started it because you said this. Am I the only one who's experienced this as a man? Okay, I hope not. A man shouldn't be doing this, though. That's the point. A man should not have this affliction. If a man is doing this, all right, this is being a pussy. All right, this is why I did the whole series on how men stop being pussies. If a woman does it, I understand. Okay, if a man does it, I do not. Actually, I do, but I don't at the same time. I don't want to see a man doing this. This is passive aggression. It's a feminine thing to do. Passive aggression is a feminine behavior. Passivity is feminine by definition. That's what passivity is. It's feminine. And I don't like when men do feminine things. All right, and I have to bring this up because so many men are doing it. And again, women own this category right here. So 80% of the time when this happens is a woman doing it to a man. But again, the 20% of the time when men are doing it, that's the problem. And I got a problem with that. We got to do something about that. We got to fix that. I need men to stop being passive aggressive and just say what the hell is on your mind if there's an issue. If there's an issue, just say there's an issue. Again, men, respectable, masculine, competent, confident, and disciplined men should be able to talk about issues directly with each other and resolve them. And even if they don't resolve them, then we can go our separate ways, but we can go our separate ways with everyone having said what the hell they need to say. Okay, now the air is clear. Okay, at least we can walk away with clear consciences. Let's recap today's class, which is part 3 of our ongoing 4-part series of how to kill your passive aggression. Number 7, withholding enthusiasm. Again, it's a common tactic used by both males and females when by law of contrast, your energy is contrasting to everyone else's. So you force someone to bring up the fact that you have an issue. And again, a woman will do this all the time. Men shouldn't do this. Men should just say what's on their mind. Number 8, praising someone's competition. This introduces plausible deniability, where you can pretend that what you were doing was just a innocent thing when it was actually being used as a negative or spiteful thing. And again, you give yourself options and you give yourself an out clause when you called out on it. And the best way to deal with people doing this is to call them out on their bullshit directly. And number 9, pouting, sulking, instead of sharing that there is an issue. Again, this is a passive aggressive thing that most often you'll see women doing this, but men are starting to pick up on it. Anytime you see a man doing this, is a bigger problem than when a woman does it. Women do this naturally because, again, a woman is not a man. A woman is not going to aggressively confront a man most of the time. She will passively aggressively confront a man to goad the man into initiating the conversation so that she can say what she needs to say. That's what women do, and they should keep doing that. It's when men do it, that's when it becomes a problem, because who is supposed to prompt you into the conversation? A woman or another man? Again, if a man is doing it, then who are you? Anyway, all that being said, everybody, and 2 men can have a conversation. But if a man needs to prompt you into a conversation as a man, then that's a problem for you as a man. All that said, folks, inside of Work on Your Game University, what we do is we turn discipline into dominance. We have a system, a process, and a formula for turning discipline into dominance and taking you to the top 2% of what you do. We have a codified process for it. It is all inside of Work on Your Game University with me as your coach. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all